A federal judge is declining to block Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from gaining access to Education Department data on student borrowers. The ruling came down late last night. It was against the University of California Student Association, who originally brought up the lawsuit. The judge ruled that it had not shown sufficient irreparable harm to receive such immediate relief. Overall, this is the latest update to so many lawsuits filed by organizations and states against DOGE.
We're bringing back in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, and for anybody who's been watching for the past half hour into there, one, thank you. Two, though, Khalif, it seems like there's a common thread here. It's again saying, okay, maybe this could be problematic, but until you actually can show harm and damage, you can't really have any movement from the judge, right?
Yes, 100%. Unlike our last piece, which talked about, potential harm that was there and the fact that they hadn't really hit on it yet, this is different. So let's start with the beginning. A TRO, temporary restraining order, that the court said in case law says that's an extraordinary relief. I mentioned this before. Courts are reluctant to grant a temporary restraining order unless you can show four things. Likelihood of success on the merits. That's the plaintiff. You're likely to succeed. There's irreparable harm. Harm that money cannot fix. There's this balancing acts. And does the balance weigh in favor of the moving party? Once the court makes that determination, they're either going to rule in your favor that I'm going to stop whatever action you believe is hurting you, or they're going to rule against you and say, you know what, you haven't proved it enough. In this case, the judge did go through that analysis, but during the process of the analysis, they hit on a couple of things. First of all, the main question that the court needed to answer was, is DOGE an agency? That's the main question. Is it an agency? And because it's an agency, does it get the guarantees and the effects in the actions, in the consideration that any other agency would get? And the judge believed, yes, they were an agency, and they should be afforded those responsibilities and privileges that other agencies would get. That's really what it boils down to. And because they were considered an agency, he believes that there is no harm, or there is a likelihood of less harm if they're allowed to get access to this documentation that they're asking to get access to.
Part of the reason Trump wanted to create DOGE is the Department of Government Efficiency taking a look at agencies. Do they have wasteful spending? You have to go top to bottom, left to right, to be able to look and see, well, maybe there is wasteful spending. So that's kind of the reason that DOGE was created. But this student organization says, hey, we feel like DOGE is violating our privacy laws. They shouldn't have access to our tax info, the financial aid applications. So the judge is saying, because like you said, it is an agency. They're not breaking the law.
Yes.
Maybe this is unprecedented, what we're seeing here, and maybe it's unorthodox, but none of that's illegal.
Maybe unprecedented and maybe unorthodox is 100% spot on. And Jason, you hit on waste. I mean, obviously you're looking at my test like Julian did last week. Waste, fraud, and abuse. This is from the secretary that read this out the other day at the White House. Have been deeply entrenched in our broken system. It takes direct access to those systems to identify and fix it. And so they're laying the foundation for why we need access. You talk about what the students at the university mentioned. They said, look, they don't need access to this to be able to fix waste. What does my personal information have there, and why should they get it? And so we're talking about something called the Privacy Act. The Privacy Act protects my personal information from changing hands to individuals or for agencies, unless they are a government agency. And that's why it was crucial for DOGE by this judge to be considered an agency. Because if they're not an agency, they don't get access to that information. Your information is protected by federal law. So yes, the judge did walk through the analysis and say, are they an agency? Do they get access to this? The Privacy Act specifically earmarks and lines out instances where you can get access to information and it's not a violation of the law.
Here you go. Bottom line, agency equals access. That's what it looks like here.
As of right now,
yeah, for now, anyway.
Still have to follow the Privacy Act, so we'll see what happens with that. Khalif, thank you so much.